is this decrease in testosterone that you're describing here, John, is this because we've been, as a society, for a period of time, we've been kind of taught that men and women are the same, there's not really any differences, and kind of the changing roles in terms of more women out there in the workforce and competing with men or even excelling over men? What's the cause for that?
Well, as with anything significant, there's many, many conditions and causes. But I would, if I could, from my experience, I would say the number one cause is the shifting of roles. You see, for thousands of years, we have to look at history. Although the past has many dysfunctions in it, it got us to where we are now. So what cultures did all the way back to when I go into the jungles and study, I lived in Ashwar Indians in the rainforest, go to Africa, see families there. What you see is more ancient ways of living. And what you don't see is the hostility between men and women. You don't see that at all. Okay. You see bonding that happens. They don't have the romance that we want, but at the same time, they don't have the discord. And you go back to Romeo and Juliet, women are often saying, why aren't men romantic? What happened? They never were. Romeo and Juliet, they killed themselves. They died a day after they got married. They would have been like everybody else. You lose the passion, the romance goes away. It's called the honeymoon period, where there's 3 years, 7 years, now 3 dates, it goes away because familiarity sets in, and now your testosterone doesn't get produced as much. You need more dopamine, newness to stimulate the testosterone if you're a weak male. If you're in touch with your masculinity without depending on a woman, then a woman makes you feel more masculine if she appreciates you. She brings you from happy to happier. A man can take a happy woman to ecstasy. She can't do it herself. You need the opposite sex, period. That's my wisdom. That's my perspective of the world, because it's through somebody else that you find the peace within you. By loving a man, you begin to love the masculine in you, and you're also feminine at the same time. By loving the woman, treating her with such respect, such adoration, such caring, I'm understanding her side. I'm relating to her side. And if I can relate to it, that means I'm experiencing her in me. And I'm also this man. Okay. I haven't given up my masculinity at all. That's how I became so balanced in terms of integrating. That's how I understand all these differences between men and women to a great extent. I had 8 hours a day, women talking about their problems, and none of them were the problems I experienced or any of my male friends. Their complaints were different from men's. It's as simple as that. So let's analyze what their unhappiness comes from. And that's not been figured out today. So you ask what's causing it. All this history is a culture that told men you had to provide for women. And women didn't pick a man unless he'd mastered the skills, the self-mastery to provide for a woman. That pumped his testosterone up. See, competence. I have to prove to a woman, I have to find a woman who feels safe with me, who feels I can take care of her as she has a baby, she's raising children. When you're in the Ashwar Indians in South America, most of the women were holding babies and pregnant. Okay, this is what they do. They'd have birth control and they're all free. They don't have TV to distract them from having sex. So they're making babies all the time. So when you have babies, you need a man to go into the jungle. You need a man to get in there and do the dirty, dangerous, difficult stuff. That's called a role mate relationship. We men have a role as men. We don't do female things. And if women do the gardening, the cooking, the cleaning, the raising the kids, and they're happy with that. And if a man tries to help them, they spit at him. They're disgusted with him. Get out of the garden. Don't cook the food.
Really?
Yes. And the same thing happens today with women. When men go to their female side and start complaining, you just become disgusted with him. Right. You need a guy who's strong like a tree. The wind blows and he's anchored into that. That's masculinity. There's these talks on the internet from university professors saying, oh, poor men, they have to be so tough. They have to do difficult. They have to be grounded. They can't be reactive. They don't share their emotions. I said, what a turnoff you are. You're absolutely disgusting to my female side. It's just, phew. So this is what happens when men are too feminine. So women cannot be turned on to them. Or in the beginning, it can happen. There's always exceptions to then work around. Many women who are way on their male side will be attracted to a weak male, to a feminized man. Why? Because that female is what she wants to connect with. Okay. It's through relating with someone. you get to go to the side of you, which is like them. So you like her, or she likes him. So he has these feminine qualities. Maybe he always is romantic. He likes flowers. He dresses up. He's very considerate. He's very sensitive. Then that's all exciting until you have sex. And once you have sex, it's because she felt safe enough to go to her female receptive side. And now she's on her female side. He's on his female side. And if you know anything about magnetism, a negative polarity plus a negative polarity creates repulsion.
Right.
You get close, and then suddenly it's like, well, that's what's happening today in role reversal. Women are more masculine, men are more feminine. And so we get close. Once we get close a few times, now it's like, we start seeing all the problems in a relationship. We don't want to get close. Our mind focuses on anything to justify not getting close to that person.